Hey, great morning, inspirers. Another day of learning awakes us all. Come on in the room. Just going to be on for a few minutes here. As always, on Friday mornings, I try to do this really quickly on Amputate Fear Friday or Friday Amputation Fears or Fearless Friday, whatever you want to call it. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you this morning on as I'm out here in Orlando, Florida. I'm at the Amputee Coalition conference. This conference goes on annually, and it's for individuals with physical disabilities, uh, those with amputations, those that acquired an amputation, those also that are congenital. So they have been born with a congenital condition that was missing a hand or a limb or some type of limb uh, deficiency. And so one of the things that happens is we get a chance to talk about our stories, about our journeys, about what's going on in our lives in our respective areas. So, for example, my first day, I joined um, a breakout session, a roundtable discussion on being an above the knee amputee. And so we had people in there who were under 2 years of being an above the knee amputee, and those that have been up like 50 years of being an above the knee amputee. The wealth of information that comes in a forum like that is just incredible. And so there are other breakouts too. So double leg amputees or double arm amputees, uh, those living with congenital conditions. There's a youth camp that's going on. And Brandon, my buddy Brandon, he said that he wants to be the president and CEO of the Amputee Coalition. I love that, right? It's just fantastic. And so we got to pour into our youth. But today I wanted to talk about one of the things that recurring themes that comes up when it comes to loss, and it's a pretty serious topic, but I'm going to try to keep it light. The loss is experienced by every amputee that I've come across, and loss also comes from those who are congenital when they figure out and they realize that they get treated differently because of the disability. Hey, Siobhan. Yeah, Brandon, he can do it. Absolutely. This is Siobhan Reed was just on this morning. I was just reading her post on uh, beautiful post on LinkedIn this morning. Great post, Siobhan, on the National Speakers Association a meeting that we had a few weeks ago here, also in Orlando, Florida. So I'm back in Orlando, Siobhan, at a different hotel. Um, yeah, so amputees experience a sense of profound loss. And highlighting it, amputees undergo a deep and significant feeling of loss when they have part of their body amputated. This loss is not merely physical, but it also has emotional, psychological implications to it. Um, I know when I had my amputation, I did sense the loss, but I didn't sense it right away. It occurred over time, and it was maybe about I think that the biggest point in time was about a month later when I was in tremendous pain from phantom pains, uh, and I was sitting on my cousin's couch in San Antonio, Texas, and I just wanted it over, right? I just wanted to be over that this loss of my leg. And then I saw on June 17th, 1994, a white Bronco going down the I-5 freeway. Of course, that was O.J. Simpson, and we didn't know what was going on. But one of the things we did know was something that was dramatic was happening in his life, that the loss had happened in his life. We didn't know everything about the loss, but he had lost his countenance. He had lost his fight to live. He had sunk into despair, and without knowing what was happening in his life, this kind of a suicide note was being read on the air from the juice from OJ, and everybody's like, "What is going on with OJ?" And in that moment, I decided that this man who has everything, I mean, the world's at his feet pretty much, and he is at a point of despair. He's at a point of checking out. He's at a point of total loss and giving up. I would fight through. That was my defining moment of trying to really regain it all back. And even though I knew the pain was gonna be worse before it got better, I knew I had to elevate. I knew I had to push through this process of pain. And we all can fight through that. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So when I had my amputation, there were some things that I actually lost, not just with my leg. I lost my military career. I was on my way to becoming an army officer. I lost my athletic career. USA Track and Field had picked me as the one to watch for the 1996 Olympic Games that was going to happen in Atlanta, Georgia, where actually Siobhan is living right now. Um, I lost some friends along the way, some so-called, well, I mean, they're so-called friends, but they just couldn't deal with my limb loss. They didn't know how to engage with me. They didn't know how to react to me or respond to me. And they weren't able to deal with it. And I lost my identity as a soldier athlete. So all of those things are physical losses. But mentally, I lost some things as well. I lost a step or two when I told you that I was trying to fight to get through this. I was going down and thinking about all these things. And when you begin to think about it, those are mental challenges, mental losses. But people that are temporarily able-bodied, tabs, can feel similar loss as well. So it's not just that I feel loss when there is a physical amputation that happens, but what if there is a cerebral amputation that happens? What do you mean? During the pandemic, hold on, I got to sneeze, y'all. Excuse me. Sorry. During the pandemic, we all went through a cerebral amputation. There were some things that we desired to have back that were no longer accessible to us. We no longer had access to those things we used to do. We couldn't go to the grocery store regularly. We couldn't go to department stores. Those were closed. Conferences were closed down, so there was no speaking opportunities in the physical sense of going to a location. And we made a run on toilet paper. We were in a state of shock, and we wanted some things back. We started fighting over stuff that was frivolous, because when loss comes in, we find out who we really are. Who we are is not who we are before a test comes. Who we are is actually who we show up to be inside of the test. Our character is revealed in times of testing. Our character is revealed in times of testing. We don't get character in the test. Our character comes out during the test. I call this time where somebody else is in our life that's struggling. Are we adding oxygen into their environment, or are we taking it away? Are we causing oxygen and clarity to come, or are we taking away and causing panic and stress? So think about, how did you show up when COVID first hit, when the mask mandate started coming out? Wear a mask. And did somebody that didn't want to wear a mask, did you add oxygen into their environment, or did you take it away? If you were on the other side and didn't want to wear a mask, and somebody told you to put a mask on, did you add oxygen into the other person's environment, or did you take it away? That's the measurement of of what happens when things are taken away. So individuals who are temporarily able-bodied can also experience loss. This feeling can arise when they believe they cannot return to a previous state of existence. So during the pandemic, we all went through, like I said, the cerebral amputation. We desire to have a state of mind back that was no longer accessible to us. So how do we get over it? Well, I have a whole system, whole process. I won't go through it today. I've shared it several times. So go back and look at a previous episode. But I will say this: in getting over it, we have to, I think the first thing is identify that we're in a state of loss, and we have to kind of honor this state of loss. And once we kind of identify that that's what's going on, we can now shift the mindset, the narrative that we're telling ourselves for the regain or the rebirth or the however we move through it. So we can start beginning to tell ourselves a different story. Instead of thinking of things as loss, think about the things as gain. And I don't have to focus on the 6 or 7 things I may have lost in my life. I can focus on the 96 things that I'm gaining in my life because of the narrative. I gained a new tribe, a new community. I gained, like I'm here right now, this tribe of the Amputee Coalition, which shifted my life. I never would have been engaged with this. I gained the Paralympics, knowing I didn't know there was a parallel path. I gained more insight and information now that I work with the United States Department of State and go around the globe, around the world, talking about how we advocate for those individuals with disabilities, so we can gain ourselves. So thanks, Siobhan. So Siobhan's doing a great job here. So the first thing she says, identify the state of loss. So that's what she picked up from this right now, identifying the state of loss. And then the second thing was tell yourself a different story about the gain or the loss. And then I think that the third thing that we want to do after we're doing that, telling ourselves a different story, is begin acting, not as the actor on a stage, but taking action steps towards the new vision, the new dream, giving ourselves space and grace to grow in that process, but taking action, that gets us moving. If someone is in a lower state of mind and they want to move quickly, I always suggest, myself included, is to go volunteer someplace, because that gives you an active role of what you're doing. It's not to feel sorry for somebody else or put yourself up, or my state is better than their state. No. What it is it gets you moving. It gets you focused again. It's priming the pump so that you can get out there once again and reframe your story. Redefine who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. So those three things. And then Siobhan, thank you so much for doing that again. And she says, begin acting, take action steps towards the new vision. And I think those three things are critical. The first being identify the loss. The second is tell yourself a different story. And the third thing is begin acting to take action steps towards the new vision that we all have. Those help us in the process of taking from the profound loss into the other side of that, the regeneration or the renewal process of where we desire to be. All right. So that's your Amputate Fear Friday or Fearless Friday, Amputate Fear. I don't know what should I call this, Siobhan? What should I call this show? Fearless Friday, Amputate Fear. That's what I've been calling Fearless Friday, Amputate Fear. And this is Amputate Fear, the lost and found. So that's how we find ourselves. I think maybe I'll just call it Amputate Fear. Maybe that's it. Amputate Fear Friday. I don't know. We'll figure. If you've been hearing the show, write in the show notes what you think I should call the show. Right. Tomorrow, Kat Coppin and I will be on. We're going to do another deep dive on story, but more on the framing of this contextual model that I've had. And I'm going to put that up. So come on back tomorrow morning. We are on at 8:30, I think, but I have to check. I want to check my calendar against what's going on at the Amputee Coalition. I think I may have to do another presentation tomorrow. Anyway, so that's what's going on tomorrow. Then, as Siobhan has done, I have a Pro Speaker Society. So just shoot me a note, DM me or something if you want to get into the Pro Speaker Society. We're just having conversations over there. I just did a live over there as well today. So if you're interested in coming in and joining our team, our collective on Mighty Networks on Pro Speaker Society, just shoot me a DM and we'll get you into the group. Have a fantastic Friday. Go forth, inspire your world. We'll see you here next Friday. I think I'll be able to do it next Friday because that's the 11th, and my wife and I are jetting out for our 35th wedding anniversary, so I'm not sure I'll be able to get on. Have a fantastic day. Go forth, inspire your world, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.